These are devotions for people at a social distance. This morning, I was reading in my devotions in the book of Genesis, Genesis chapter 30, starting at verse 25. And this is a part of the story of Jacob and his father-in-law, Laban. And what's happened at this point in the story is that Jacob has been with his father-in-law, serving his father-in-law for no wages, basically, except for the daughters that he marries, for I believe it's 14 years. And this is what happens. When Rachel had born Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, his father-in-law, "Send me away that I might go to my own home and country. Give me my wives and my children for whom I have served you, and let me go, for you know very well the service I have given you." But Laban said to him, "If you will allow me to say so, I have learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you." And that kind of struck me this morning because what Laban is saying, basically, he had to go through some sort of ritual, some sort of divine sacrifice and interpreting omens in order to discover that he has done well. Why? Because he's had this guy working for him at no wages for 14 years, and he has, as you know, Jacob has had children and his family has grown. He has kept Jacob entirely dependent upon him. He has no independence, and big surprise, Laban has prospered under this circumstance. Did he really need to do some divination to discover that where he was exploiting this person and profiting off of his labor for almost nothing, that he did well? You know, it's kind of amazing. But it's that kind of moment that really kind of struck me for where we are today. So we are in a situation, where, for the last year, there are some people who have profited mightily from this whole circumstance. I'm talking about, some entrepreneurs who sell, for example, essential goods, grocery stores, things like that. They have cleaned up during this time, right? Because people have been concentrating on buying these essential goods, and in some cases, they've been the only option for people to shop. And this has absolutely been to the great profit of some of these people who have been posting record profits. While, of course, lots of people have really been struggling during this time, and in particular, the employees who work in essential industries have been suffering not only the effects of the pandemic, but have really been, some of the lowest paid people among us, even though they are experiencing the highest risks. And you know what? It's like, the wealthy people among us are taking the divinations and saying, "Hey, you know what? We have benefited from these people who have been working for us." But instead of doing the reasonable thing, saying, "Well, maybe we should compensate them better, maybe we should treat them better," they're saying, "Whatever we do, let's not change this situation because we have profited from this situation mightily. We better not let anything change." And that's sort of the moment where we find Laban in this story. I've done great by exploiting this guy. I better not let anything change, or at least let things change as little as possible. I think we all need to come to terms. We in our society, we value things like investment. We value those who already have lots of money, and we protect them and their assets without necessarily caring about those who actually do the work. And so we value investment more than we value labor that people put into things. And we are seeing the effects of that. In particular right now, as the pandemic spreads among those who have no choice but to go to work, this is having an impact on our whole society. And our divination moment has come. We need to look at how this has been happening, what has been taking place, and say, not with Laban, "Oh, we better not let anything change," but with Jacob, we need to be saying, "It's time for me to take a little bit of control of my life." to allow the people who have been contributing their labor and risking their lives in the midst of this pandemic to take a little bit more or a lot more control over their lives. That's what's needed. So these are the reflections that I had this morning from reading in Genesis chapter 30. Lord our God, we've seen the divination. We know what's happening. Let us come to terms with it, and let us respond appropriately. Amen.